This is London in 1945. It represents a point zero of collapse, where entire city blocks were reduced to jagged brick and smoldering timber. Standing in this wreckage, many people lost confidence in their nation's future. The scale of the destruction made recovery feel impossible for a country with a crippled economy. Recovery required a massive, decade-long effort built on more than just architecture. By establishing a social safety net that covered healthcare and pensions for every citizen, the government stabilized the population enough to begin the work of rebuilding. Today, that same city stands as a global banking center, home to some of the most innovative architecture in the world. It transformed from a graveyard of ruins into the fifth largest economy on the planet. Repairing a physical city follows the predictable rules of engineering. Reconstructing a culture that has rotted from within is a far more complex challenge. Ideological ruin occurs when a faith or culture is dismantled from the inside. Its own members do the damage through their own actions and choices. To many observers today, modern Christianity feels like a ruined landscape. The institution has become unrecognizable to those who value the original message. The symptoms of this decay are visible in every news cycle: voices championing hate, the mistreatment of women, and the active marginalization of those who are different. Following the actual words of Jesus, loving neighbors and seeking peace, now makes many feel like exiles within their own religious community. When a community's identity is weaponized against its own values, it creates a crisis of continuity. History suggests a specific path forward for people looking to reclaim what was lost. Looking back to 6th century BC Jerusalem reveals that this feeling of exile follows a predictable pattern. Two specific failures led to the collapse of that society: corrupted worship and a systemic refusal to provide justice for those living on the margins. Because of this internal rot, the city was destroyed, and the people spent 50 years in Babylon, mourning a home they thought was gone forever. When Nehemiah returned to rebuild, he carried a clay cylinder containing a legal decree from King Cyrus, authorizing the city's restoration. These intricate bands of cuneiform script provided the legal legitimacy needed to rebuild the walls, offering the returning exiles security in a hostile neighborhood. While these walls offered physical protection, they couldn't fix the underlying culture. The people were safe, but their identity remained in pieces. To address the internal ruin, the people gathered for half a day to hear their foundational texts read aloud for the first time in a generation. The crowd began to weep. They were overwhelmed by guilt as they realized how far the nation had strayed from its original purpose. In that moment of grief, Nehemiah made a counterintuitive move. He commanded them to stop mourning and start celebrating. He told them to go and enjoy choice food and sweet drinks, and critically, to share with those who had nothing prepared for the feast. Guilt recognizes the damage, but Nehemiah understood that the joy of communal celebration provides the actual strength needed to finish the work of reconstruction. The process used in Jerusalem offers a framework for those facing a similar ruin today. The first action is a return to the source. This requires the heavy lifting of reading the actual words of Jesus to bypass the loud and often corrupted cultural filters that dominate the news. The second action is a refusal to give in to cynicism. Even when the loudest voices seem to have destroyed the faith, they don't get the final word. The third action is living with joyous action. This means throwing the party, practicing aggressive mercy and generosity toward those on the margins who have been left out. By telling the true story of the faith through these actions, the messes of a distorted culture can be cleaned up and restored. Reconstruction focuses on the work ahead. It relies on a communal joy that is strong enough to rebuild the city of God in our own neighborhoods.